The world of mental health treatment is on the brink of a massive paradigm shift. This will be just as big as Freud first identifying the unconscious part of the mind. I am, of course, talking about the use of psychedelics to treat mental health conditions like depression. In 2018, the Food and Drug Administration declared psilocybin a breakthrough treatment for treatment-resistant depression. And experts believe that it will be FDA approved fully by 2024. And so in this video, we're going to explore what psilocybin is, how it works, and what is its potential as a treatment for depression. But before we dive in, take 5 seconds to like and subscribe. The psychedelic space is growing exponentially, and there's some amazing things coming out. Subscribing is a simple way to stay in touch with what's happening and how it may impact you. First, let's take a look at depression itself. The impact of depression cannot be overstated. Officially, major depression affects approximately 17.3 million American adults. And since the pandemic, there's been a 25% increase in depression and anxiety worldwide. But these are only the self-reported numbers. The reality may be much, much higher. It's easy to cover up the reality of depression behind numbers and trends, but let's be real. Life hasn't been easy these last few years. The truth is that this is a deeply personal condition that affects almost every area of life. Depression makes it almost impossible to find joy or meaning in life. It can leave you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and alone. This feeds into the biochemistry of the body, leading to greater incidence of sickness and disease. And it harms your capacity for creativity and performance, not to mention the huge burden that it puts on relationships and families. So what are the origins of depression? First of all, nobody wants to feel depressed. It's natural to feel happy, healthy, and whole. Unfortunately, this desire to feel anything but depressed has become a lucrative business. And the result is that pharmaceutical companies have been allowed to push drugs that rarely work better than placebo. For a deeper dive into how conventional antidepressants work and how they compare to psychedelics, check out this video here for a more detailed look. For many people, these traditional treatments fall short, leaving them feeling at best numb to life and at worst more helpless and without hope. So what does the science say about psilocybin for depression? A small trial study conducted at Imperial College of London in 2016 found that psilocybin led to significant reduction in symptoms of depressions in patients. With just 2 psilocybin sessions plus therapy, 100% of participants had a significant reduction of symptoms after 1 week, and 67% of them had a full remission. 58% of those participants stayed in full remission at 3 months, and a remission is a 50% reduction in depressive symptoms. A study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology in 2018 found that psilocybin-assisted therapy for treatment-resistant depression decreased depressive symptoms 42%, and those effects lasted 7 to 12 months. Another study conducted at Johns Hopkins University in 2022 found that psilocybin-assisted therapy decreased depression symptoms for 78% of participants, and that these effects lasted at least 12 months. 58%, again that number, 58% of participants had full remission 1 year after treatment. This is extremely encouraging data. So what's going on here? Why do mushrooms work so well for depression? Let's first focus on the default mode network, and that's relationship to depression. Psilocybin works by altering the neurochemistry of the brain, specifically by reducing activity in the default mode network. That DMN is a group of the brain that is active when we are engaged in self-referential thinking and rumination, basically our default thought loops. In depressed individuals, the DMN can become overactive, leading to negative thought patterns and persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. By reducing activity in the default mode network, psilocybin may help break negative thought patterns and provide a new perspective on the self. But it's not just new perspectives. We can also gain access to previously unconscious parts of ourselves, which is where a lot of trauma lives. So what is the impact of trauma on depression? What relation does that have to psilocybin? Often at the root of persistent treatment-resistant depression are wounds and feelings that we've hidden from ourselves, and many of these are sourced in trauma. It can be a big trauma like physical or sexual abuse, or more subtle traumas like feeling unloved or ignored by a parent in a critical moment of childhood. The psycho-emotional neurological pattern gets frozen in time and lives on inside of you, and this can often manifest as depression. And this stuck pattern can be very difficult to shift with traditional therapies. And so what psilocybin does is it helps to lower those barriers that hide these traumas from our conscious awareness, which allows us to release these imprints to have a catharsis more easily and intentionally. And so psilocybin-assisted therapy provides a unique opportunity to confront and process underlying emotional issues that give rise to these symptoms of depression. And so what does the future potential look like? Well, the world of mental health is on the brink of a massive paradigm shift. The legal landscape is already changing. States like Oregon and Colorado are paving the way for legal access to this breakthrough treatment. Local spa-like treatment centers for psilocybin are only a few years away. And so what will likely happen is in the next 5 to 10 years, psilocybin will become widely available and it will become the cornerstone of most therapeutic modalities. But until we get there, it is critical that you find a high quality and well-trained therapist or coach who knows how to work with psilocybin. And so if you would like to find a qualified practitioner, retreat, or even clinic near you, Third Wave curates a high-quality directory of vetted and trusted providers. Just go to thethirdwave.co/directory to find more. For a deeper dive into how conventional antidepressants work and how they compare to psychedelics, check out this video here for a more detailed look. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The psychedelic space is evolving every day, and we have a ton of amazing content that's coming out, and subscribing is the best way to keep up to date with all of that great content.